Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching me from. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Daniel Dixon. Ada, I greet you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's pray and not curse our children. Good day, Ada. I greet you. Guys, you're welcome to my live. Don't forget to react to the video, like, love, leave a comment, make it interactive. You're welcome to join. You're welcome to leave your opinion. Let's be respectful. Let's try to learn from each other. Nobody knows it best, right? Greetings, Ezioku. I welcome you. Yes, so welcome, 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 welcome. I'm coming. I wanted to actually pause. Okay. Good evening, my people. Omale Elojo, I greet you. You're welcome. Good evening, everybody. I hope you are continuing to enjoy your Yuletide. So, the interview that our Nollywood actor Emeka Ike gave was, causing a lot of conversation going. And then the wife came out and also gave her own side, and even then the son. And I've been listening to the conversation that is ongoing in the internet, and I did not see any compassion upon the wife and upon the children, especially of what they have gone through, witnessing that domestic wahala going on as young children and growing into young adults. And the son even presenting evidence of how traumatic the kind of curse that their father unleashed on them, the behavior. And even at that, people were kind of disconnected. That was just that disconnect, this attitude, like your women, the mothers of your children are your enemies. I don't get it. Like, you are marrying a woman that is giving birth to a child for you, but somehow the women are your enemy. That is a strange mindset. That is everybody. needs to see themselves as a complement of the other, not one as against the other, like this gender, that gender. No, because we need each other last. And if we are talking about the family breakdown, we are talking about the societal breakdown, we have to look into the family. A lot of people are in abusive familiar relationships. Hardly you can count in your hands how many people are not going through domestic violence in the hands of their father. We have a culture and we have normalized traumatic violence against women and children. And it's okay for a man to lash out because what did you do? Well, it's okay. But when they are on the way at work, they are very calm and gentle. But when they are at home, like, they unleash a lot of anger. And I'm not saying that there are not women that are like that. But what I'm saying is, when somebody come out and say a story, listen to that story. Listen to that story. Like, I was trying to listen to Emeka Ike's interview. Like, it's like talking and making no point. He only accused the wife. He accused all other Nollywood people also that they were after him, that they are assassins, that the wife has access to assassins. Like, he was not saying anything that actually makes sense. He's saying that they took access of his land. Like, and then they are not even asking, okay, do they have the documents? Like, how do they have the documents? And if someone bought your own land, without your consent, and you have the document, you can always redress that, And he says that he came and they locked down the school. And I'm wondering, like, is this still on this planet Earth, or he went somewhere else? Like, a school where children's lives are tied to cannot just close from one day to the other and tell them to pack and go. We will hear it. The parents will lash out because a term has to come to an end. Then if at all a school is closing, so that the children can move on to the next this thing. Like, his story was all over the place, and he was like making a threat actually before he started talking. Like, if he hears PIM, that's the manipulation. They're like, better you don't come out, because he's used to that level of control. If I hear PIM, who do you tell if you hear PIM? You tell if you have PIM to somebody you think you are higher than, you are above, or and you have got something more than that person, you have something on that person. Like, you understand, there is a level, like when you listen to that guy, his demeanor, and the story he was telling, it did not add up. He basically said, like, it was like someone that was going through some kind of hallucination, paranoia, that kind of a thing. How can you say everybody was after you? Nollywood people, you have problem with everybody, and especially the wife, and then she's coming in contact with assassins and people that buy people. And he said he thought even Ibn Abo was after her, but Ibn Abo called her now that his mother passed. So, what is this communicating? Nigerians, learn to listen to what somebody is saying. Learn to listen to the content and put it together. Go back and listen to Emeka Ike's interview and ask yourself, did it make any sense? How can you say boldly that assassins were after you and they were from your Nollywood, and that your wife is the one that brought them on air, and people are still listening to this man? Huh? People are like, you are basically saying that Nollywood actors and actresses are assassins, that they use assassins to take away their opponent, or what? What was even the, like, I don't know. I don't want to play that audio because of copyright issues, but the interview is all over the place. You understand? So, my people, when you are listening, make your own judgment. Don't just be aloof. Don't allow yourself to be led on. Think about what that person is saying. You are saying that they took possession of your land. For somebody to have possession of your land, they have to have the documents. Otherwise, the person that bought the land bought it for nothing. And you can always go and contest it. Say, okay, if at all the person there has to be consent. If his name was on the documents, how does somebody else get to sell the land that another person's name is on it and it becomes legit and there's nothing you could do about it, you just move on. It doesn't make sense. Everybody knows that. You don't sell a land that you don't have the documents with you. You don't just go and lock a school and that means the school is locked. A school, like a school, a big school, if I remember, then you just came and the school was locked up. It didn't make sense. And then you now said that people were after you, they wanted to buy you everywhere you go, assassin, they were sending assassins. Or that's someone that is suffering from paranoia. Like something like mini after effect is affecting that person. When you are saying openly, accusing your colleagues from your industry that they are after you, truth is really not found in majority opinion, right? And then he was making also as a statement. He said he trained his wife. He trained her in school. He trained her in this. He made he built a house for her parents. So that's telling you that he actually went to pick someone that he wants to be the absolute author of that person's life. He wants to be the one that groomed that person, paid their, like, so that literally they will be at his feet. You know, this is like when you see somebody that is made, a Nollywood, you know, someone that is out there and is going for a man, like an unexperienced, very young person, just out of school, 18 years, 17 years, you're already eyeing that girl. You don't have anything. She's coming from a socially not so wealthy background. These are people who mask control and you know, they mask their need for control, for possession as love. They don't love you. They want to control you, and they want to control the outcome of everything about that life. And you dare not speak up because they're going to use it against you and say, do you know where I pick you up? Do you know where you will be? That's another level of manipulation and control. And they groom you to grow on them almost like Stockholm syndrome. You will like trauma bond. You will be trauma bonded. Like they will put you in a situation that you cannot help yourself. You went to take a young girl. Before 18 years, you have already impregnated her. And she's carrying your baby and going to school. Is that one training person in school? Why don't you train her fair? Let her go to school, be her independent person, and then let her come back and marry you. Let us see. No, they don't do that. These are mind manipulators. This is a cold narcissist. A cold narcissist. You know, when he started, if I hear any pim in his interview, I was like, how do you say that? You know, those are things you tell to a child, a baby. Say, if I hear pim, I will take away your remote. I will not give you this. If I hear pim, and you are talking to adults on a live television. So the lady survived whatever was going on in your home. She has never come out to say anything. You are still the one that came out and was lashing out and still threatening if you hear pim. Huh? So if you see people who go after young adults, very young, immature, naive adults, when they have colleagues, they are already exposed. They are looking for control, absolute control. They want to pick you up from where you will have no say, that they will be your second God, if at all they will accept that there's a God. And the girl was pregnant, carrying his children and going to school at the same time. There's no escape. You are tied. You are tied. You are tied. Like you are tied. You are a young person, inexperienced, from a poor family, and this Nollywood actor, you remember those days now? It's not like today. Ojutila. Today now I don't open. In those days, everything was still coming up, and the lady was young and impressionable. I think she's even she has a half Nigerian, half European ethnicity, right? So she's looking that up and she's looking, oh God, see opportunity maybe to go into the limelight, all the naivety, right? And then he lashed on it. You took her, impregnate her, and did all this. You didn't even do wedding or anything. You just managed to pay bride price. And the way this man was talking, I just knew that it's not. You said the wife should admit to not selling the property. What are you saying? What is there to admit? You yourself, you can't use your sense. You can't. She be the wife is saying she don't even have the document. Is it not the document that you have the land before you will sell land? Listen, open your head. If you are not a narcissist and you are not doing trauma on your children, in your family, you will hear what that man is saying. But you see these people that are silent narcissists, they do no wrong. They are the one perpetuating domestic violence on their family. They are the one that will be so up there and be interpreting nonsense. But it's so evident what the man is saying. Somebody that is beneath you, tell me, why did he go for a young, naive girl? Why didn't he go for his class? Who sent a message? Who sent a message? Run away. If you're a young girl and you are like 18, you are 17, and somebody is coming, they are looking for who to control. You can't deal. You can't deal. And look at the evidence the son gave. Look at what he was saying to the son. I want you to go and commit suicide. Die now, smash your head. Who says that to a child? Your own child. The child that you saw the day he was born. The prayer of every parent is not to witness the end of their child, but you are recording audio and sending to your child so that the trauma will enter. Like you will see the anger in him, like you can feel it even as an outsider. What I'm saying in all this is, let's learn compassion. It's right there in your face. It's right there in your face. Learn compassion. There are women that are also like that. They are very abusive. They are violent. You will see it. You will, from through what they are saying, you will hear it. You will hear it. In this Germany where he is, can he do that level of abuse on the woman he's living with and go free? He can't. You can't beat somebody. You can't beat. And if you look at that woman, you see a lot of trauma even left. And everybody's like, oh, she brought the son, she brought the son. But the son is old enough. He's old enough. He's not a child anymore. And he has his experiences. Are you people trying to invalidate that child's experience? You are trying to tell him that what he experienced is not real. You are putting that person in more trauma, in more psychological problem, because it's not like, am I the one making it up or did it happen? But this is their experience. Let me tell you, children are more intelligent than you think. Everything that is going on, children are seeing it. And the time will come, they will come to terms with it. So if you are being violent, whether you are a man or a woman, in the house, the children are picking up the clues. They are seeing it. They are not dumb. And when the time comes, you will receive the result. I know if a woman that was very violent like that in the house, and everybody saw it, but when the time came, the woman is the one suffering it. The children move out there and they are with their father. The woman is suffering it. She went to Nigeria. She can't even have it. Like where she's staying in America is like project, government, last resort. The children no send her. Why? Because they witnessed it. They understood what happened. Don't make it look like children don't know what is going on, like they are empty, like they're, somebody will just manipulate them forever. No, they are experiencing something. They are experiencing something. So when somebody is talking, let's listen. Let's have compassion. It doesn't matter the gender. I personally am not into gender, because she's a woman. But I know that there are people, regardless of their gender, like the one we witnessed, I shared with you guys this morning. Policeman is even girlfriend's face. Girlfriend, the girl went to carry his gun, he don't buy the young man. They're not married, they are still doing. So imagine if that man end up to marry somebody like that inside house. He cannot explain the violence he will be experiencing from her. And the cue is always there. But the thing is, when somebody who is experienced, who know the level of control they want, you are going to go and pick somebody that you feel like you want to control, you want to have the ultimate hand, it will always backfire in the end. Because you can do that control, you can subjugate so long, maybe 10 years, maybe 12 years. But in the end, the person will still come out of your grip. The person will escape. The person will survive if you did not end up killing the person. And the Nigerian society, even if you go to police as a victim of domestic violence, they will still be looking at it as a family issue that you people should settle. All the neighbors will be begging. So most of the people that end up perishing under domestic violence, it's not like there is no intervention. It's not like they didn't make an effort. But first of all, people look at it as a trivial issue. And you have so many adults who have grown up in that toxic parenting environment, and they are bearing that trauma into their own relationship, into their own encounter with other people. And you see this violence, this insensitivity, this lack of compassion. There's a place it's coming from. If you are witness your father lashing at your mother, or your mother lashing out at your father, there are women that are extremely violent also. Wer ist das? Ich wollte fragen, ob Sie Kochbanane haben. Okay, in Ordnung. Ich komme nochmal. Danke. Yeah, sorry. You understand? So you look at his son, he's giving you the audio evidence. Look at a sample of what the level of the abuse, toxic parenting. You should have some sympathy with the child. And a lot of people are saying, yes, the father wants him to go a particular route because he is the father. He wants it, it is not our goal to force our children into any profession. That's why other people are doing better than us, because they allow their children to go to become an adult. From 18 years, they allow you to become an adult, to make your own decisions, to even make your own mistake and pick up yourself. Is faster, is better, you learn. But with baby and you basically want the child to live your dreams, not their own life, to live your expectation. And so you force them. If you don't do this, I disown you. You understand? That's toxic parenting. And the children are not meeting up to your standard. You say, I'm ashamed of you. You say very hurting words. Let's learn that we cannot talk to our children like that in this generation. Especially, a lot of people are giving birth in Europe, in America, in the West. You can't talk to your children like that. It's trauma. Because because whatever they hear here, they don't have any other play. It's not like in Nigeria where the society is more or less, used to that, normalize that level of toxicity. It's not normalized here or in the West. So the children cannot accept it like that. The lady moved out. The lady moved out. He said, I'm wrong. No, the lady moved out. And the lady cannot sell a house that she doesn't have the documents. So the question would be, the person that with what document was the land sold? If you say they sold your property. So I shared the link. Well, the Minister police was not by the girlfriend. The gate man was on a visit to the lady. It's the police. Ah, okay. I'm sorry, I have to correct myself. Our sister is saying that the story of the police lady that they said the girlfriend died is not the girlfriend, or it's somebody else. Like, is in having a relationship, but also having somebody else on the side. So the side person is the one that came in and that issue happened. So I take that back. Thank you for the clarification. So anyone that wants to join, please, the link is there. Let's have this conversation. We need to stop this toxic, traumatic parenting, and think of the children. Think of the children and not try to invalidate their experience or their feelings. If a child that is turning into a young adult is coming to air his trauma, we are not in a place to trivialize it and say, oh, better go and beg your abuser, better go and ask for his blessing. No, don't do that. Don't do that. People should be appalled if that kind of audio will come out in Nollywood about a Nollywood actor that behave like that to their own child. His career is finished. He will be cancelled. You don't do that. It's too much. I want you to smash your head down. In fact, go and do it. Die today. Like, how do you say that to your child? And the child is coming out to tell you, to air his own experience. This is his own experience, not yours, not mine. We are not in a place to invalidate him and say, oh, me, is still your father. Yeah, of course. But why is a father saying that? There is no level of anger or provocation. It only takes a song, like a very bad narcissist that want to be in absolute control, and everything must go his way or nothing. It's his way or the highway. Either you do what I want or you want. It doesn't want any other way in between. That's what is playing out there. So all this other thing, and by the time he started saying, if I help him, then you know that there's a problem. You don't say that on public interview. So all of you that are saying the boy should go and beg his father, beg his father for what? Or is it not the father that's supposed to apologize to his son and take back the curse he lay on his own child? Hello, my sister. You're welcome to the program.
Hello, blessed and good afternoon.
I'm telling you, if he wasn't their brother, you're welcome.
Yeah. So I am one person that I really do not like to follow the lifestyle of celebrities because of the damage and the harm, the kind of assumptions about what their lifestyle has brought to the society at large. I really have never commented on any platform about this. When I saw you wanting to post it, to talk about it, I was like, okay. So, first and first,
yeah,
we are Africans before
okay.
anything.
Okay.
When we talk about going back to our roots, my emphasis was that we have culture, regardless of where we try to live today. Fine. I'm not going to sit down here and make an excuse for Emeka Ike for using extreme word on his child. But I am here to say that there is always a behind the scene of everything, including conversation. Even before you came online, you had a behind the scene preparation.
Yeah.
So, that being said, first thing first, Emeka Ike did interview. The wife came to counter the interview and brought their young adult child.
Yeah.
First thing first, I, talking to you, will never put my children in that position. Disclaimer, I am raising my own adorable children. And a culture outside our own. Where I am not allowed to say what Emeka Ike said to them. Because these children can just run out and the state to take them. However, when Emeka Ike said what he said to the child, now it happened. Why did they save it until 10 years to use it for a time like this? Number one. Or have they not been, are they going to claim that they have not been changing phone? That is because two adults fighting chose to make the children their battleground. You dey hear me, so?
Yeah, but
I
the
don't.
thing the thing is, because when you know who you are dealing with, the person that denies and gaslights you, you have to keep some records for the day of reckoning. As
Okay.
a reminder, of course, of course, if he didn't have that, who will even understand the extent? And
Mm-hmm.
he's
So
an adult. He's an
let
adult.
me see, let me
He's
come.
now an adult.
You know why I say you should share the link?
Yeah.
We don't even like my children. If they have to run for safety, they run to me and their father because we made our around us their safety net, right? So I'm not supporting violence on
So are
children
you
in
trying
any
to
way.
say that in our culture we should condone
No,
such things? We
allow
don't
me to
even have.
land.
I
Allow me
am
to
all
land.
for the silence to be broken, because in the name of our culture and silence, a lot of people are going through trauma, and we are having damaged adults who
Okay,
don't know
now because
how to deal with that trauma.
let me land with my point.
How can we come to help adults to become compassionate, to be caring, if they have gone through trauma that nobody is validating and everybody is trivializing and blaming them for even daring to express?
No, I'm not blaming anybody. I am saying if we are gonna get that voice note, we should get the preceding incidents that resulted in that voice note. For example, that boy opened his mouth and said that he left school to go and work in a restaurant. Now, I'm not against that, but he can work in a parallel line with that job, and this is what he chooses to. I asked you to share the link when you mentioned that overseas children are allowed to become adult at 18. This is what comes with growing and becoming adult at 18. You rack up credit card. I'm talking about US. Once you leave your parents at 18, they have no right to tell you what to do. But guess what? They have no right to your bills. You own your bills. Did you want make everybody assume that African parenting is toxic, which sometimes can be? I'm not going to say, which some parents are just so mean. They treat their children like property. However, I do want to say that if you are going to use for Western culture as a yardstick for your child to assume maturity and growth, also remember that at that 18 years, once they leave, they are responsible for their own apartment, their phone bill, their light bill, their food, and their everything. They don't visit their parents unannounced. Any attempt to do that will result in involving the police. And if they chose to stay, the parents are going to put them in their health insurance up until they are 24. Why am I saying all these things? Emeka Ike's son wanted to be an adult. Is he being an adult in his own pocket, or is he being an adult while still letting wanting Emeka to pay his bills?
But you just
Come
said
on now.
he went to work.
Eh?
And obviously, for him to be under his father and go to school and study what his father wants him to study, for him to be in school, he will be under that oppression. Not
then when he is emancipated, he should
when he realized he cannot deal with that, and he left it to go and be himself, earn a living, and you are still not happy with that. I don't get you.
Okay. Well, if you are going to be an emancipated child in America, the law allows it as from 13 years old. You can say you don't want your parents in your life, but just know that you are 100% responsible for you. And for God's sake, if Emeka is going to pay his bill, Emeka should have a say. If Emeka is not paying his bill, it's a taboo for him to want to put his mouth where his money is not.
Yeah, that's why he will tell him that he will spit on his face when on the side of the road. Because
did you hear me issue disclaimer that he went extreme?
No, because I think that maybe you really need to tell me what is the point you are making, because it's all over.
The point I'm making is this: if you want to be an adult, do adult thing. Do not be relying on fellow adults while trying to. Their freedom is good, but it comes with responsibility.
That's not the topic we are talking about, because It has not said that, his father was paying his bills and he wants to go and do his thing. He only mentioned that he went to live. So if somebody left to work in a restaurant, it means they are earning their own money so that they can be themselves and do what they really wanted to do. Not being in a place where someone is footing the bill and dictating what they have to do. That's the interpretation I'm getting.
Oh, well, if it is what you are saying, these people came prepared for that interview. They would have given us the background, and keep in mind, the Mekike wasn't paying his bill. And they will bring evidence. This was premeditated interview. They were not put on the spot. They came prepared. If Mekike was no longer...
Emeka Ike started it. He started it and he said he don't want to hear him.
I did not even say Emeka Ike was... I'm not making him a hero here, to be honest with you.
All right,
but I am saying that there is always a two side to a coin. You see Emeka Ike's wife and the son. They came for a premeditated interview. If there is any reason to drag Emeka Ike below what it is, they will surely bring the evidences, like they brought those voice notes. I don't know a mother who will be having a dirty fight and the dirty divorce.
It's not brought their child. The mother
brought their child in between.
The child is validated.
You invited me. Allow me to air my opinion. Let us agree to disagree. We cannot be agreeing all the time. Emeka Ike's wife came for a pre-planned interview, brought all the convincing evidences for the audiences to see, so that he can appeal to our pity, which we saw, which Emeka Ike was on the wrong with his choice of words. But if Emeka Ike was not financially responsible for that child, Emeka Ike's wife would have come with evidences too. That's where I'm coming from. You want to be an adult in my house, that is good, but go to Walmart and get a job.
But that was
not live in my house and eat my food.
The conversation never came down to footing bills.
But it came down to bringing evidences to make Emeka Ike the bad father, right? It came down to bringing evidences to make a baby. If the footing of the bills are not being footed, they will bring it as evidences to worsen what Emeka Ike, the nonsense he spilled with his mouth. They will pepper it and garnish it with the not footing bills. So we can always agree to disagree.
The bill gives you the right to abuse. That's what you are saying.
No. I said Emeka Ike was too much on his source of words. But remember that he who pays the fiver dictates the tune. Like I said, we can always agree to disagree.
Which is why he went to pick a naive underage girl to groom.
That was not forced. That was not forced to marry Emeka Ike.
Well, there are ways to manipulate
I came from underprivileged background, and there are some people I don't talk to as a young girl because they called me my wife. I stopped talking to them. I don't even greet them. There are some people I don't greet because they told me they want to marry me when I was 21 years old.
You were not a superstar, in quotes, as at that time.
It doesn't matter.
My sister,
okay, my sister, my brother.
Yeah. She was not coerced into marrying Emeka. It was her choice to hop on the bed of a popular person.
That. It's manipulation. You're welcome.
She wasn't. As an underage, if you tell me you like me,
let our brother talk now.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My sister Chi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First, I wish these things were not in the public domain. Emeka Ike and his family, they are not alone. We have loads of families going through the same thing, be it in Nigeria or elsewhere. And I'm not trying to focus on the toxicity of anything.
But remove children from your dirty divorce files, for God's sake.
I'm coming. You see, the audio the boy released, he went and cut out his own beat and put out Emeka Ike's own beat out there in the public.
Thank you.
That is something everybody should notice.
Thank you.
That audio now all he said, now let me rephrase what Emeka Ike said. He said, "You are my stress." Now the question I'm asking, what did the son say to the father that necessitated the father saying that to the son?
Because he wants to do music and the father.
That's a different kettle of fish.
That wasn't the beginning of the conversation. That was the beginning of the conversation. That wasn't one leg to cut. You should have played the entire audio.
I've listened to that. He cut off because all the audio he released was just Emeka Ike's voice, and not like a voice note. This is a conversation like we are having. Something led to something. Even I made a post as Emeka Ike. I'm not judging him. I'm not being judgmental, but A father should not say that. But
Thank
then
you.
there's
Thank
something.
you.
Let me speak as a man. I've always said to myself, most times I'm not good at communicating my personal frustration with my wife. How much more with my kids? You know, Now literally things can be going through a man's head. Too many frustrations, too many challenges, you know, that could ignite everything. And let me be honest, Emeka Ike was raised by a Nigerian parent in a Nigerian environment. It has an impact the way he's going to raise his own kids. Most of us who are Nigerians that went abroad started having kids. We're having this issue. Most kids, they say, my African parents, we have these issues, because most times we want to put our foot down to do things, to get these guys to play balls, not like as if, they have to do things our own way, but we want to whip them into line. But sometimes it can come back at us. Because how can it come back at us? Hey, if they go and complain this to the school, the principal is going to have a conversation with the parents. Before you know, CPS is involved, the police is involved. But I'll tell you this. Let me just make a difference. This was about 2010. This man is a Moroccan. He works in Tesco. I was working in Tesco as well. His young son, the same issue, blah, blah, blah. They took him off him, put him in a hostel. To cut the long story short, the young son got in the street. Now, when the police invited his father said to them, when I was disciplining this boy, you guys took away from him. Now you take him.
When
He's
I
the
was
burden on you
shaping
guys.
him the right way.
I am telling you what happened. This is a Moroccan father. He said, you take him. I've given him to you guys. You take him. Don't bother me. Don't tell me my son stabbed somebody to death. It's none of my business. There are things, you see, let's be honest. A parent that have 3 children, the one that is very stubborn, the one that is cunning, you see them, you understand them, you know them. So what you are trying to whip into line at home, the school is not seeing it. My son goes to nursery, 2 days in the nursery. So his nursery attendant cannot know him more than me that spent almost a week with him,
My life
around the
savings
clock.
to pay.
Now that is it. I speak as an African parent. The only thing I would say, I think all the parties involved need therapy. They need healing. Everybody's coming from the place of trying to accept a revenge or, to be honest, I might be wrong, but the way I looked at that boy, the way he was saying, that guy is on substance. That to make a case on. If you investigate further, that guy in a bog, the way he was taking out his glass, what an extent can he go that he said this thing? I mean, come on. I grew up, I was raised by a Nigerian father. All this, it is now I'm even beginning to understand most of these things are abuse. And if we call it abuse, that means I've been, from my secondary school, the so-called punishment, the flogging. Now I begin to understand most of these things.
And you don't see
But
that his language as an offshoot of the way the father talked to him.
no, you see, let's be realistic now. I don't want to get involved in so many things. I have young I have young nephews, let me shut up my mouth anyway. Most family, they are seeing what others cannot see.
Exactly.
When you look the way that guy was saying, took out this thing. Come on, you don't describe your father that way.
And what do you have to say about Emeka Ike accusing the wife of her knowing assassins and the police coming after?
Honestly,
is that not an mini exhibition?
What I'll say is this: since they've both decided to come out to the public domain, I think both parties deserve tell-all interview. Because Emeka Ike came for a film promotion, started saying something that is unrelated. Now the wife has gone to Chud and said her own. I think if they want to bring it to the court of public opinion, both of them deserve to appear for tell-all interview. Let them just let the whole cat.
Yeah, side by side. Let's be parallel.
Okay. Maybe Chude has to bring them face to face then.
Yes, face me, I face you. The lies will die down.
Okay, like personally, I don't want to be partial, but I'm looking at it that people are not understanding the impact of that toxic parenting that the boy experienced.
No, blessed let me say this again. Blessed let me say this again. You were raised in an African family. I was raised. Parents say something deeper. Although my parents have never told me to go and die. My parents have never.
Sorry, my sister. Like I was saying, honestly, like those who are more clever would always say, in anger, do not speak. In the peak of your happiness, don't make a promise. Because when you're so happy, you can make a promise you cannot fulfill. And when you're angry, you can say things that will come back to haunt you,
That we
I'm
which is
don't
the
forgive
fullest
rebel.
theory.
to the point of saying my picking go, hey, Jehovah forbid, I
No,
will
but
not.
see, blessed them. You don't. You see, you don't know.
Blessed
We
them,
all
you
have
are
families. We
blessed
all have
them.
families now. You don't
Harry,
know if
please
that.
give me a
One
second.
minute, 1 minute. If that guy at 22, that with all due respect, he has not seen life. He has not seen the world. Will be
Yeah,
saying,
but he has his own baggage he's coming with.
that I
He's
am coming. I am.
still
You see,
working
blessed
on
them.
what you are
1 minute.
saying is his
1 minute.
trauma.
You
He's
see,
living it out now. He's processing it. It's gonna take time, and invalidating that experience is not going to help that young man.
I'm not invalidating it. All I'm saying, he has a mind of his own, right?
Mm.
He's like, that's an interview we just saw. But all I'm saying is this: I think either the family go and seek therapy, seek healing, or they come out for tell all interview. But what Emeka Kid said to his son wasn't the best. But
And
I don't know what his son said to him.
even revealing that he groomed the girl is also not saying anything good about him.
I don't know. I hope everybody finds a way to come out of this. To be honest,
Okay.
but so many families are going through same thing. So many families are going through the same thing, and unfortunately, we are raising children in a generation where discipline has become a thing of the past. Because whether it's not about being in Nigeria or abroad now, it's almost the same thing. The way I was raised is different from the way people are raising children these days. They want to have their say, they want to do things the way they want. And like if the family structure starts developing issues, then we're gonna have a difficult society. That's the truth. Thank you, my sisters.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you
Blessed
that
them. Let me throw
me
this thing in.
personally. Okay.
Blessed them. Let me say this thing. I have multiple children.
Mm.
Elementary school is free in America.
Mm.
Okay. Still, my last child go to a school that cost us a fortune. If I say it on camera, people might not believe me. Why? Because we know our child. In that school he goes to, they still use spanking as a form of discipline.
Okay.
But you, as a parent, have to sign for it.
Mm.
And your child will be spanked in your presence. So, paying thousands of dollars when we could have gotten him a free school. Do remember that it was done out of love, right? And if he gets spanked in that school, do remember that we cannot pay somebody to kill our child. The only thing we want is because they have three types of children. They have the securely attached child, the non-securely attached child, the anxious ambivalent child. These are three types of children categorically, kind of psychologically categorized. I gave birth to all of them. I know which is which. He tried the public school, others are going. It was drama and roller coaster. We now think we have the one where he need more structuring. And then it can only come from where government will not tie your hand and leg and say, no, you can't tell that child to stop moving when he's supposed to stop moving. You are violating his rights. So if I will be paying thousands to a school because we think they have a kind of structural standard, I don't think that school will love my child more than me. Emeka, you and I will not love that child more than Emeka. The school that child attended, the primary and secondary school, is one of the most expensive schools in Nigeria. Okay? Emeka was not spending all those money so that the boy can go and buy. He was doing all those things, hoping to raise a generation he'll be proud of. And it pains and hurts to see your investment going down the drain. When I watched that video, I called my husband and said, what our African parents are missing is this. If you want your child to study for something and they choose another route, incorporate that their own choice into what they want to be. It will give them the fulfillment. I gave an example of this American sitcom, Yoruba people TV show called Bob Hart Abishola. I said that the mother wanted Dele to be a doctor. Dele wanted to be a choreographer. The mother said over my dead body as African parent he is. But then Bob said, Abishola, why not allow your son to go to medical school while pursuing his choreographer as his kind of fun activity? He will go to his dance class to get his satisfaction. He will still go to school to study your medicine. And then, initially, the boy will plunge into depression. The moment they threw open, you can do parallel your two choices. Yeah, the boy sprouted and began to thrive again. So what am I saying? When we look at Emetike as the demon, let us also remember that this man invested so much in this young man, not out of hatred, because I am doing exactly the same thing with one of my sons. The money we pay for his school fees, we don't do it because we hate him.
I will never.
We do it because we want
I was not like, I experienced some kind of that whooping, and I don't like it. I abhor it. You know, when I started school, when I went to a public school where they were whooping my ass, I hated it, you know. But when I now went to a private boarding school, there was like, it was a no violence, right? So I am against physical violence, because how can somebody train a child by physically crossing that boundary, and the child is living in an environment that if he raises his hand against anybody, it becomes assault that will be recorded as a criminal offense? It's counterproductive. When when my father was alive, my father will whoop like you not even forgive, like anything you do. Like it was not nice, you know. But our father was the sole provider, you know what it means. But because of, like, you are literally scared of him because of that high-handedness, you understand? Not because of any relationship or anything. But when I was living with my grandmother never raised his hand against me. I had my choice. I could do everything. And the discipline was talking about what I did. What was I thinking when I did it? That's when I even began to understand that for you to be doing so, you have to be thinking why you are doing it, during or after. Like you should be able to think, what did I even do? Why did I do it? You know, like, it brought me, and my grandmother let me to understand that the physical violence that we whoop our children and beat them was not natural. It was not our way. Talking about going back to our roots, our African culture, it was not our culture that we should violate our child with so much physical violence. No, she told me it was what the people who went to school brought. That was what the white man taught them. And they were calling them disciplinarian, you know, like they couldn't pronounce it well, but I understood that it's disciplinarian now. But that is disciplinarian, you know, that's what they learned from the white man, because that was the brutality they used against Africans to subdue them. And now African people think that without that violence, they cannot raise a wholesome child. And they are doing all those violence, and there's so much violence in the society. Everybody is violent, and then they are rushing to other countries that have left that violence. You know, the white people, they used to be like that. There was corporate punishment. There was all this violence against women, against children, until Reformation came. Even in their education system, you will go through the Reformation education ideologies that brought about the change. You know, there are big education reformists that, you know them, even like church reformation, like all this Martin Luther that went against the Pope. It was ideal. People rose up and stood against it. But we that we were introduced into that violence against our children, we are holding on to it as if our life depends on it. No, it's time to end all forms of violence against children. We need to attend to the psyche of our children early. Not violence. We need to come to our children. Let us understand them. What triggers them? Not hammer. It's not a panabita.
Blessed I cannot challenge that. But I can tell you that if what you're saying is the truth, it's probably not in American society, because at least every 2-3 seconds somebody is wounded by in America, every few seconds,
because they have access to gun.
Number two, I can also tell you that America still have the capital punishment. If they did away with violence, did they really do? If you want to structure
You
it,
can't compare American history and American society with other normal homogenic society, for example, like Germany, right? The level
okay.
of violence is very, very low and minimal. There is no, in fact, for them, the penal code is actually not to punish, it's to reform, it's to change.
Well, like I rightly said,
They're not judging you or sentencing you so that you go and be punished. It's for you to be reformed.
oh well, I'm talking
The
about Western
highest
culture,
sentence
about what I know
is
as
about 15
Western
days.
culture. Well,
So for
let
them,
them
it's more of proactive, preventing. They invest in the youth, try as much as they can. Invest in the
blessed them. Blessed them. The
children.
mirror through which I see the Western culture, unfortunately, is America, because that is my kind of immediate environment. So, when I talk about for a Western culture, I talk about what I see happening in America. I haven't been privileged to live in Germany or other
Yeah.
Western part of the Western world. But when you talk about reforming, sending people with intention to reform, I have worked in the prison system for 6 months, so I don't agree, because I know what I saw.
I'm
I
talking
know what
about
I'm seeing.
here. I'm talking about here in Western Europe. I'm not talking about
Okay,
America. I've never lived in
okay.
America.
If you are talking
I
about
don't have the
Western Europe,
American
I
experience.
cannot
But you
speak
have
for
to
that.
know that America is coming from a very, very, even to today, very violent
I told you every second,
oppression. Like in a way,
every 10
if you look
seconds,
at
somebody get injured with pipe in America. Every
if you
10
look at
seconds.
like if you like you know one thing, one of the things that amazed me as a person, coming to some understanding is like if you look the story of that Ame, Papa Samuel, and you come dey reason and say na dem wan come dey talk who good, who dey do good, na dem come be the onyoko meter wey dey talk who good, and like the thing dey baffle
Now
me
then they
because
police the whole world
like
and set moral
on a
standards.
normal on a normal day, no, they're not supposed to get mouth say you good or you no good, like on a normal day. But that's where you see power, like the Bible said it, like, and I saw power in the hands of the oppressor. And the other people that they cry or that they weep, but the power remain, now who get that power? Now they talk. Not be say them good. You don't understand? Because look at their history now. Are you playing? You are nobody.
What do you mean?
Nobody reach them now. So it's still coming. They go say don't the better, don't the better. Now the better we still they look like this. You never even reach.
Okay,
You understand? So you know fit to they use that one. In fact, we know like that one in America and Australia, go there and go see. It's almost like they're giving our young black male the assignment to do devil work for them. I don't understand because
let me summarize what happens in this society I live. In this society I live, they will paint a picture of what you, when you correct your child with any means necessary, you are abusing that child. Then they will wait for that child on his 18th birthday. He does exactly the same thing he did, and you pull your rod. That child will remain in prison for life. I am being honest to you. That is why I am not going to make it made the choice of harsh words, to be honest with you. But I don't think he's being abusive, because honestly speaking, there is a very give example. There is a person I'm not going to mention where I met, because they want to know I'm talking about them. In 2021, that boy was born here, raised here. In 2021, I saw his mugshot where they went and stole baby food with a group of his friends, African American boys. They put him on the news. Then a year, in 2020, then in 2021, I saw him again this time around in the news. What happened? Somebody don't bite by the boy. Imagine that time they caught him with tins of baby milk. The father pulled the highest disciplinary measure. Up to
what is for you? What is the highest disciplinary measure?
Maybe the father, I don't know. Well, anything can be. If you are the type that don't beat your children, beating them becomes discipline. If you are the type that don't raise the voice at them, yelling at them becomes extreme. So it depends on what you have been doing. Whatever you do above what you have been, above the bare minimum you have been doing with your children, that becomes extra for them. So that boy I saw, and when I saw his the picture of his obit, and I went and screenshot his mugshot, shoplifting, and put it side by side by this thing and shared it with a friend and say, see what I'm saying. He said, imagine that this boy was corrected in the beginning. He won't be sitting in the box.
It's not about discipline, but
Brother,
we need to
I'm gonna let you run your show now. Let me log out and listen from the background. But I want you to know this. Give Emeka son 10 years. We will revisit this conversation. Emeka is the abusive father. May God visit him the way he has maltreated this boy. But let's give him 10 years from today. If we are still here, let us see what he turns out to be. Because I am seeing a child. I am seeing a child who wants to go bananas. Who wants to go bananas? Putting emotional strength.
Validated now, and he gets therapy and gets change, or he will relive that experience on other people that will come into his life, like his own wife and children, and the vicious cycle goes on. That's why I'm doing this show literally say, break this cycle. Let's break it. When people speak out, let's listen. Let's have compassion, right? It's not about, what is our way? Our way is not violence. That violence was introduced to us. That was the violence of the slave master against the slave. The slave master did not visit that violence on his children, but on the slave to command absolute obedience, because you know what is coming after you. That kind of violence, but we think it's control, we think it's discipline. It is not.
Okay, like I said, we will revisit this conversation when we see how that boy has finally become the next generation Ben Carson, or the next generation.
He may
do you
not
remember?
He doesn't get help that he needs. That young man needs help. That's what I'm saying. Really, that young man needs help. If he didn't get that help, he's not going anywhere.
Blessed. Do you remember that this young man? Remember that Davido once left American university and said he don't want to go to school. He wants to pursue musical career. The father struck a deal with him. The university the father has a kind of share in. They had to establish a department where Davido studied and got a degree in his name. I don't remember anybody telling his child to embrace Western education in addition to whatever he's doing today. I don't think that is a wrong idea. You don't know where the world is going to. Whatever you are doing, integrate science and technology. It will be awesome. And it will be worldwide. Thank you, my dear.
Violence. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, my dear.
Don't support violence.
I don't support violence, but I support raising children the wrong way. Because if you visit American prison and work there like I have done, you will know that they simply collected discipline from families, and then these children became business. Did you see that judge that went to prison in America for sending children that are not supposed to go to prison in prison because he has a share there? They collected discipline from families where I live and then transitioned it to business, where billionaires now, some people supply them socks, some sweaters, some soap, some
get involved with your children. Be involved.
Well,
know who they
Emeka got involved with his son and he's being roasted. He got involved. Let the son play the entire audio. Let the son play the entire audio.
His way or not.
I will agree with him only when that boy played the entire conversation. Not when he do.
What do you mean? Do you want to come into the program? All right, my sister. Thank you so much for being.
All right, dear. All right, dear. Bye.
Yeah. Do you want to come into the program? I don't understand you, Michael. Miracle Odogu. I don't understand your point. Yeah. So my people, what I'm trying to say is, the violence you think beating, that's why Nigeria is what it is. All the beating, all the good upbringing that you have in Nigeria, how is it reflecting in the Nigerian society? How? Right? How is it like, like if our parenting was so good, that all the parenting, they parented so good, why do we not have honest people that have integrity, that have conscience, that are compassionate, that will not buy somebody just at the mention of go and bring woman hair, that they will not think about, have no emotion, no attachment to human beings, or is on, where is the evidence of that good training in the Nigerian society? People that lie without any whim, people that scam without any whim, even their fellow Nigerians. I see people who scam people who want to register for JAMB. You know this is going to be a whole year again. You will scam them, young people, leave them hanging, and you are hustling. You don't have conscience. Where is that good upbringing? We are not seeing it. Beating is just like controlling people for so long, and then they are numbed to pain, to violence, and they can visit it on anybody. It's not about taking side with the mother. It's about his own experience, what the violence he lived through, the toxic parenting he endured as a child growing up. That is his experience. That is his childhood we are talking about. It's not about his parents. What about the children? We need to break this cycle. Nigerians, my people, violence, beating, beating is not training. If it is what is good, we will be seeing that evidence in the Nigerian society. Yes, if you come to German society, you will see the evidence of their training, the way they train their children. It will be evident in their adults, how sincere they are in their dealing, how loving and compassionate they are, how faithful and lack of corruption they have in them. You will see the evidence of that upbringing. It didn't happen by magic. And if you come to Nigeria, it's like everybody is looking for their victim. It's an evidence of the parenting that they have gone through. And there's something wrong. So if you're talking about going back to our root, we need to go back to the root. How did we raise our children before the white man came with the violence of disciplinarian? All communities had a way they trained their children. There was no violence. You pan a bit. And what does it make? What has it done to the society? All these people in public office siphoning money, they don't have any conscience, no loyalty to the people, to the country, to nothing. Where did it come from? Did they materialize from heaven? Yeah, so my people, this is my point of opinion. Let's break the violence cycle. Violence is not good, especially for young children. To preserve the Nigerian society and save it for this violence, if you look at Nigeria now, there's too much violence. Everybody is violent. Even Nigerian women are violent, very violent. You will give them somebody's child, they will do unimaginable things. You will imagine, like, how do they even imagine, sit down and imagine that they want to make that child go through that? And all these things will be happening in the community and nobody will bat an eyelid. People are so numb to afflicting pain and visiting evil. People are numb. The kind of thing that if you do anywhere else, people will be like, oh my God. In Nigeria, they just face your business. Like nobody, people are not moved. Oh, she go her, like, that thing, you don't master them. They don't take a master, they don't take a turn to tradition. So there's so much violence. The women are violent, the men are violent, the children are going through traumatic parenting. We need to break the cycle. And one of the ways we can break that cycle is for us to listen to what young people are saying about their experience, and not trivialize it and say it's nothing, and not make it like it's nothing. Don't tell people who have experienced pain to forgive flippantly, go and meet it, forgive. No, you need to validate that experience. You need to validate it that, yeah, you are not running mad. This is true. I bear with you. I feel you. I'm sorry you went through that. Please find a way to heal. Yeah, no, don't dismiss people's experience, please. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't do fundraising. I don't do fundraising. I don't do fundraising. I don't have the energy. Exactly. Nigerian women slapping their I know somebody that, they are the one to slap, and then when the man retaliates, that kind of a thing, and they're the one who say throw the man's things out, and then they will still be the one crying victim. Why? Because there's a culture of violence up and down. I'm not saying that Emeka Ike is completely bad. I'm just analyzing what he said, and from that conversation, what I'm interpreting from what he has said, because it's not adding up. It's like a mini story to me. It's not really adding up. You understand? And from the side of the woman, she said she left. She left. That much is clear. So if she left and she didn't say anything, you dragged her out. Like if Emeka Ike never said anything about her, like they're asking, say, well, it's past in the past, let's move on. He didn't have to start saying anything, right? Because the woman didn't leave the marriage and come out to say anything. He was the one that started this whole conversation. So at the end of the day, the blame of this exposition goes back to him. It is on him. He should carry that responsibility. He's not innocent. He is not. Yeah. So thank you so much, my beloved people, for being a part of this program. I'm so glad I got to add my own 2 cents to this conversation. I pray that you continue to have a good time in your celebrations in this Yuletide, and may God continue to bless each and every one of us. May we continue to learn and have better knowledge of what is going on in the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.